Good evening and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. This is Kristen and I am here with another Flip That Sketch. So October the 2nd, I posted this sketch that I flipped, and it is, let's see, here is the sketch that I did on the 2nd. I flipped it this way. And here is my finished sketch. And so today I thought that I would try a new sketch, the same number of pictures, but I am going to expand and do some different, one picture, 3 pictures, smaller pictures, different varieties. But I wanted to finish up my anniversary layout. So there are 3 all together. This is the one I did with Flip That Sketch on the 2nd. This is the one I did for day 18 of 30 Days of Sketches in Scrap Timber. And so I incorporated the same alcohol pearl inks by Ranger, and I incorporated the same red and pink and purple in different ways. This one was literally just a solid white with this red background. And I will say, my original video before I did this, I said I wanted to bring the red in, and I ended up not using it. And I'm okay with that because it has all the other things, some of the same embellishment types from the same brands and sticker sheets and things. So I was okay with that. There's enough to tie them together. But I am determined and will be using some more of this red. It's like a shiny, I don't know if you can even tell on the camera, but it's like a shiny red. So I will be bringing that in on this 3rd sketch. I will also be bringing in the pearl alcohol inks and some more of these Stick-a-bilities and these Carolees, I think that's what they're called. And I will also be using this Art for Everyone paper pad by Vicki Boutin. So, but I will bring in the red. So I'm determined. So that is the plan. Now, I move these 2 over here, and I gotta be careful because I've got some pages laid out over here that I've been working with today, and they've got drying stickles on them. So here are these very romantic pictures to finish off our nice evening from Cheesecake Factory. We went to Sportsman's Warehouse and Hobby Lobby. This is like the perfect shopping center for my husband and I. And so this is just a picture of me in the Sportsman's Warehouse and pointing at these like deer heads and stuff. So my husband does not hunt. Well, I mean, I guess he probably would. But anyway, we were in there just wandering around. I was going to buy him an anniversary present. He didn't find anything that was anywhere near our price range that he wanted. So then we ended up in Hobby Lobby, and I did not take a picture in there. I was just so excited that we were in there. And that's where he bought me my alcohol pearl inks. So these are the pictures that I'm scrapbooking. I am going to still stay with the romantic-ish theme with the pink and purple, but I am going to bring in this other color that came in the set, which is Envy, which is another alcohol pearl, and also this mixative from the original alcohol inks that I got, the gold mixative. And the very first layout I did had the gold with the pink and the purple, so I'm kind of bringing it all back home. And then I am going to use, I am determined to use scraps other than this white base page. I am going to only use these scraps. Now, this is a banner that I made yesterday that I made for the other layout. Obviously, I didn't use it because it was too short. So the next layout, oddly enough, has a banner too. So I'm probably going to pull that in since I already have it. And then these are big enough pieces for my photo matting. And then I have these, see, my favorite, and this is all I have left are these two and like some little strips back here. Love this paper. And then the red, which will be brought into this. Here's some little scraps. I may be doing some not hole punching, but circle punching. And so I thought some of these would be big enough for that. And then here are the two sticker sheets that I used, or embellishment sheets. This is a Stick-a-bilities, and I've got a couple of things on here left. And then these are Adornit by Carolee's Creation. And these are some of the things that I used on the other layouts as well. So I want to use these. I want to use some of these up. These are the border or branding strips. And if I don't use those, that's okay, because I have a really good idea for using some of those up. So I'm just got them here just in case. However, my sketch does not really call for that. So here it is. This is today's sketch. This is by Brenda Ragsdale, and I've done a few from her. I think there were at least one or two from the 30 Days of Sketches from her. And so these two pictures are obviously not in the format that I need them. So I believe I am going to put them like this. So I'm going to turn it the one way to the right. Yesterday I turned my sketch to the left. Today we're going to go to the right. Not that it would make a huge difference because it's pretty much the same, except I feel like the way I want my two pictures to meet here in the middle, I would prefer it be like this. So this is my plan. These are the papers, the pictures. I got the inks. I have my Creative Memories circle punches. And I think I am ready to get started. So let's see how this goes. All right, so the first thing I did was decide which papers I had that were long enough and wide enough to fit the 3 long strips and the wider strip that goes on top. So I love those hearts. I love those hearts. So I went ahead and pulled those in. And there's that red paper. And I cut down those 2 pieces right there for photo mats. And I will end up coming back and trimming one of these pictures down. Not that one, but the other one. And I apologize for any background noise. I am not in an airport about to take off. My washer sounds like I'm about to fly somewhere. So anyway, so that picture of the Sportsman's Warehouse will end up getting trimmed down. I'm not sure you'll see that actually happen, but it will miraculously be a 4x6, and then poof, it will turn into like a 3.5x6. So I get these hearts and I trim them down to 10 inches. So I cut 2 inches off and I lay them down. I just want to make sure everything is going to look right. So I lay them down and then I look to see how I want this strip of red. It's really not a strip, it's like a block of red. How wide I want it to be. I don't want it to cover all of my hearts, but it needs to be, a pretty good size in the middle. So I just trim off a little bit, and I think that it's probably about 5 inches wide. So I am laying everything down because I want to see how I'm going to like it. And I get everything kind of laid out the way that the sketch has it. Now that I've turned it to the right one. And I realized that the 2 pictures being this tall is too tall. Like there's too much of that top picture. And I'm not worried about that banner because I know how to fix that. So look at that miraculous picture is smaller by like a 1/2 inch or so. So I cut that down and trimmed the paper and re-stuck it down. and I like it so much better. I didn't need all that parking lot. And so I got all that done. I laid it out and decided how I wanted it. And now I know where I need to put my inks. So here I am showing you, like I did yesterday on the 2nd, how I use 2 colors on one little dauber. This is my cheap self. So I have the purple stripe, and I just hold it. You can see that I'm holding it, tilting the dauber to the right. So I only get the purple on at this time. And I want it to be significant, but I need to leave some spaces that are not fully filled in that purple. So then I get the pink out and I put that down and I turn it, and now I'm leaning it it's the same direction, but I've turned it around. So now I fill in where it's mostly white with this pink, and then I do a little blending where in different places. So I don't want it to be completely filled in, but I do want you to be able to see, a significant strip of the pink and the purple. And I love these pearls. They're very shimmery, and I'm just all about the shimmery these days. So now I am getting the green, which is called Envy, and that is also an alcohol pearl. And this is a brand new clean dauber because I have not used green before, or at least not this green. I have a Stream, which is the other one. Pardon the sniffles. I'm still dealing with the sinuses. So I put the green down in just some different places, and then I am going to get my gold dauber out, which I have used before, and I will add some gold into this green. And I did the green on the gold on the bottom because that is the side of this layout where my picture in Sportsman's Warehouse pointing at these deer heads are. So it kind of makes me think camouflage and hunting and things. So I thought this was a good time to add in that green as well as the gold. So I just put that down on the edge and do the same thing. I just fill in some of the holes with the gold and then do a little blending in a couple of places. And I want the ink to go from one side to the other. And I will realize at some point that I did not do that with the pink and purple, so I got to go back and fix it. See, that little bitty space on the top right corner is not completely filled in, and I don't like that. So I am lining up my papers, and I believe this is when I realized that pink and purple does not come to the end. So I'm going to fix that real quick. And I just use whatever is left on the ink pad. I just don't want it to be that stark white. I just want a little bit of color there. So then I realized that these lovelies that I'm putting down are white based on white paper. And it kind of disappears and doesn't look like strips. It just looks like hearts. So I'm about to lay them down, and I realize they need something. So I, right here, realize that they need something or they're not going to stand out against that white. So I get my dauber and my black soot distressed ink pad, and I ink around all 3 of these strips of paper. I'm going to use this dauber a lot tonight because I also get it out to go around my pictures later. Spoiler alert! So I get the middle one down, and I've got it lined up to where it should be right in the middle of the page. And I am putting the other 2 down next to them so that they overlay on the alcohol inks a little, so there's not a gap, but that it's not a huge gap between the strips. I just want a small gap there, just enough to where you can see that I have distressed the sides, so it doesn't look like each strip just continues into the next strip. So I get the pictures situated to where I think I'm going to like them. And I realize they disappear into the paper. So I think, oh, I could back it with black, but then I realize that the banner is black and it will kind of disappear. So then, even though it seems really strange, oh, look, the laundry's done, guys. I back it with white. And then I take the dauber and I ink around that white, and it gives it just a hint of a border. And then I measure out my stuff to see what I like. And I am debating on if I like how big that is. So I trimmed this down just a smidge, I believe, and then I get it placed down. Pull up the double-sided tape on the ends of my strips, and look, you can see where the alcohol bled through the page, and that's okay, but it's just a hint. Always put it on top of something when you are working with alcohol, especially if you are not using the watercolor paper or the Yupo paper or the or gessoing your paper. I always try and put something down underneath, and that's why I keep like the paper pad tops and bottoms, because that's what I use. So because I want this banner to stretch from top to bottom, and it is only 10 inches, I cut it in half because the endings are going to be hidden behind the pictures. So I get those cut and put some double-sided tape on the other side, on the back side on each end. And then you see I stuck the scissors under there. It's because the double-sided tape is off and I don't want it to get tacked down yet. So I put my banner there, and I do not like that you can see the red paper in the V of the banner. But I can't move it up any higher because that's as far as it will go without coming off the paper. So I get my other banner prepared and stick it down there. And again, there is not much, not as much as at the top, but there is a small bit of the red showing through. Bah! So, because I hadn't cut it, I thought that it would work. But because the V in the banners is a little deeper, you can see that red paper. And so, I said in my video yesterday, I don't like that paper showing through. It just looks odd. And I don't know. I think it's just because it's a small amount that it looks like it was an accident. If it was more of the paper, then maybe it would be more like an intentional. So I will find a way to fix that. Don't you worry. So I get the Stick-a-bilities stickers out, and I put those down, and there's a little arrow, and I want that over here on the left. And I also want to keep with the sketch and have that little circular element that is where the pictures connect. So I put it up on foam. I cut out a circle with my Creative Memories circle punch, and that is that green, the back side of that heart paper. And I put the little arrow on it, and I just put different phrases and words and things around the page. I use the word fun and end up moving that. And then I've got this border strip, so it kind of ends that side. It contains that side of the page. And then I get the word love from an American Crafts Adventure sticker set. And move it around a few times. I really want it in that bottom left corner, but that word fun is there, and so it looks like it says love fun, which I do, but that's not what I want to say. So I move the word fun and tack down the word love and put the word fun next to that silly picture of me. And so now I'm going to get out my hearts and try and find some places to put some of those little hearts. And I do have another paper clip, and initially I stick it on the outside on the right, and then decide, oh, I'm going to disguise this boo-boo in the middle where the paper is showing and tuck the paper clip in there. And that does kind of work and maybe for somebody who wasn't paying enough attention or wasn't really like investigating and, really staring down my layout, they probably wouldn't notice, but I noticed. So it's not enough for me. So I'm digging around looking for more hearts to see what I want to put on there. And none of them are calling out my name saying, put me on the page. So I get out my gemstones, and I have a ton of Park Lane gemstones. I need some more in different colors because I am running out. And so I get some pink and some purple gemstones, and I put them in the bottom left above the word love, and in the top left right near that light bulb. So in the sketch, there are gemstones over near the banner, and I didn't really want anything over there except something to cover that daggone V in the banner. So I get some gemstones in two different sizes. They're very, very small and then a little bit bigger. I need some that are colored, that are bigger than the large ones I'm using here. So I have the 3 different sizes, but they didn't have those. So I get those down. I fiddle with those ones on the bottom a little bit because I put one in a place I didn't like. I went to pull it up, had to fiddle with it. So I finally get those to where I like them. And then I add a few gold ones over towards the right next to the banner. Kind of ties in with the sketch and brings that gold in that I have already used on the other pages, plus with the gold mixative that is on the bottom of this page. So now I am going to journal in that open space. And I had 2 markers that were gold-y looking. So I got a piece of white paper, then I wrote on it so I'd see if I liked it and which marker I wanted to use. So I journaled. And now I am trying to figure out what is missing from my page. And of course, the one thing missing the most from my page is my favorite thing to add to a page. And that would be the Tim Holtz metallics. And I love, love, love these phrases. And this one is one of the easiest ones for me to work with. I have one that has snarky comments, which I love, but not all my layouts can handle snarky. So, and then I have another one that's like quotes from books, but it's just partial quotes. So sometimes it's really great and sometimes it's kind of hard to use. So now I am cleaning up my space and trying to decide what I want to do here. So here is the sketch. Here's how I turned it. And I'm like, okay, I think this is done. I'm going to start showing you. And then I realized, nope, that V is going to drive me crazy. I've got to fix it. So I get out my Creative Memories circle punch again and a scrap of paper from the Vicki Boutin collection I'm using, the Art for Everyone, and I make some circle punches. And look, I'm going to find a way to fix it because I can't stand that. It looks ridiculous to me. So I take this circle punch and I tuck it in. So yay, ta-da! And then I take another one at the bottom and tuck it in underneath the paper clip. And it's like, oh, now this was meant to be. Now this is not in the sketch. And that's okay because it makes me happy. And in the end, I love the way this layout turned out. It is not what I had anticipated. It was not what I was planning. But I really do love the way it looks. And it has all the fun on it that this layout needed. So I end up cutting a couple more, punching a couple more circles out because I don't want it to look like I'm fixing boo-boos. I want it to look like it was intentional. So I cut a few more out in a couple of different sizes and I cut them in half and use them in 4 different places instead of using 4 full circles and wasting. I cut 2 circles and cut them in half. And just kind of tuck them around in different places in this cluster. And I really think that it brings it all together because that is the paper I matted one of the pictures on. So it brings that same color in pattern into the entire layout. So now here's the close-up. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all love this series, and I will see you all again soon. And I hope you get a chance to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping.